Hey guys, hey everybody, just waiting for people to come on in. Here we are. We're at the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast, and I'm happy to have all of you here. Just give a couple of minutes for everybody to come in. But again, this is awesome. This is exciting. Happy to be here. Always a pleasure. See some people coming in. Again, we'll give it a couple of minutes. Let some more people, maybe a minute. Let some people come on in. But again, my name is Harrison Glazer. I'm really happy and excited to be here with you guys today. Again, this is the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast, where I'm going to be talking to you guys all about the Jets, all about what's going on. Again, awesome. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for coming on your Monday. Much appreciated. Thank you for tuning in. So let's start off by talking about Denzel Mims. We'll jump right in, okay? People will catch up as they come, okay? So again, Denzel Mims. He had a solid season this last season. It wasn't great, but then again, it was his rookie season, and, he wasn't utilized at all in the second half. He was utilized poorly. I remember if you actually look at the numbers, compared to when Flacco played, he actually did a lot better and was more consistent, putting up better yardage, but he disappeared in second halves. But people say, oh, he can't be a wide receiver one. Well, why not? Well, why not? He's only played 1 year. He was a rookie. That's it. In his rookie season, I'll bring it up right now to show you guys, to give you the comparison. So in Denzel Mims' rookie season, he put up exactly 357 yards, averaged 15 and a half a carry. A good average, but okay, let's say we'll compare him to some of the top guys in free agency right now. Let's compare him, to Kenny Golladay. Do you know what Kenny Golladay did in his rookie season? The exact same thing. Kenny Golladay put up 338 yards, so actually less, and better average, but still less yards. Now, if you look at Allen Robinson put up about, I can look it up, at 550 yards in his rookie season, give or take, less actual yardage per catch. So when you look at Denzel Mims, I put up a video, I think it was like a week or two ago, give or take. It's there. If you see it, he can be a wide receiver one. I mean, he needs good coaching. There's a couple of things he does need to work on. The biggest thing with me that I felt watching him last year, and again, it's unfortunate, but the case with Adam Gase's offense last year when, Sam didn't have a great pocket, and unfortunately he's not, great to begin with, unfortunately, which we're going to be, I think, moving on, in my opinion. I think we're going to be moving on a quarterback. But when you look at what Mims did, my issue was when the play broke down, when the pocket broke down, he didn't give any second effort. He didn't, try to shake free or cut up or cut. He didn't do anything to give that second effort to try to, open up the play for his quarterback. So that was a big thing that I kind of knocked him on. Also, I felt like he's got amazing top-end speed, and there were a couple of games where he didn't, look as fast as he should. And a good reason for that, the kid had 2 hurt hamstrings. I mean, hamstrings are lingering injuries. It's not uncommon for rookies to get hurt in the NFL. I mean, most rookies wind up getting banged up at one time or another, but what you got to hope for is, that they rebound from that, they condition better, work out better rehab programs, that it doesn't become a consistent thing. So that's the biggest problem, especially in his rookie season. He had those hamstring problems. But again, like those people, just tuning in, we compare him to, guys like Golladay, guys like Allen Robinson. They put up the same numbers. They looked just as good in their rookie season. Paul, happy to have you here, my man. Thank you for the shout out. Jenny B, happy to have you here as well. I think we're moving on from Sam as well. Yeah, I agree, Jenny. I think we're definitely moving on from Sam. I mean, I think the writing is definitely on the wall. I mean, I loved the kid. He's a great kid. He's an awesome kid. You want to get behind him. I mean, he's a great guy. He's young. He has potential, but most of you guys, saw my podcast last week. If you didn't check it out, again, it just comes down to Zach Wilson being too good a talent to pass on. If Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence weren't a possibility, then I'd have to legitimately consider, more, keeping Sam as opposed to moving on. But you can't pass on Zach Wilson. That's it. So the Jets, I think, are definitely taking him at 2. I feel like it's definitely the best move. But, back to Denzel Mims. Again, I put the video out the other day. This kid is got the talent. He makes the great catches. He's got good physical ability. He plays, tight on the corner, but you've seen him, push off, be able to get separation, which I put out the other day. I was put out something about Kadarius Toney and the issue with, creating separation, just, going a little side tangent. There's a difference between, in my opinion, I guess, vernacular and how you want to use it. But I look at a difference between creating separation and getting separation. Guys like Toney can get separation because, they're extremely fast, extremely agile, they're quick. They can break open, cut back, and definitely blow somebody downfield. But when it comes to creating separation, Mims can do that. That's what you want from a physical receiver. That's why a guy like Rashad Bateman, a guy that has excellent route trees, has excellent cuts, but he's physical enough in the one-on-one. He can line up outside and be a legit wide receiver one, which again, guys, Mims can be. I mean, I'm not saying he's definitely is. Like, he's not even close to that yet. But again, we look at all the other guys. Robinson went, I'm pretty sure, later than Mims. Galladay went way later than Mims at the 90-something pick. Both had similar rookie seasons to him. The truth is, we don't know. Too many people are saying he can't be a wide receiver one. That's just crazy. We just don't know. So I think, we need to address wide receiver. The way I've looked at it is, I think my opinion is Denzel Mims is without a doubt clearly at minimum a wide receiver two. I think we could all agree with that at minimum he's a wide receiver two. So because of that, I just don't see the need to spend $12, $14 million on a wide receiver two. A guy like, Juju Smith-Schuster, a guy like Curtis Samuel, because again, Samuel can line up in the slot, but we have Crowder. I'm a big Crowder guy. I think he's been one of the best slot receivers in the NFL consistently, which is a big thing. So, I mean, consistent, productive play, excellent cuts. I mean, very, very quick. He's everything you want in a slot receiver. If you guys sign a guy like Samuel, who's going to make more money. But I think the Jets, either they need to go after a true wide receiver one, and unfortunately, I don't think any of those guys are going to hit the market. Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Kenny Galladay. I hate to say it, but I wrote an article on it. Check it out if you want on my website. I don't think they're going to hit free agency, especially Godwin, because, Brady plans to run it back. And I hate him as much as you guys hate him. But again, trying to come at it from the Tampa Bay perspective, they want to run it back again. They're not going to take away his best target, one of the best players on the team. He was good this year. Last year was one of the best in the league. So I don't see that as a possibility. Galladay, I don't see either. I mean, they just traded for a new quarterback. He is a wide receiver one when he's healthy. Galladay's without a doubt a wide receiver one. And don't forget, a 96th overall pick. Because again, pick doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. That's the issue with Mims, guys. Too many people forget Mims was supposed to be a first-round pick. He was always projected to be a first-round pick. Last year, I did tons of mocks. I never had him. I never got Mims because he never fell to me. So I didn't even consider him really as an option because he never fell to me in any of my mocks. So that was a big surprise to me, that even was available at that second pick. Then when Joe traded back, the ability to still get him, that doesn't devalue him. That doesn't mean, all these teams passed on him. Again, Robinson went 61st overall. He's the third best free agent right now if he becomes available. One of the best wide receivers in the league. It doesn't matter. Mims can definitely be the guy. So Jenny's asking the timeline. I mean, what it really comes down to is how they address in the draft and free agency. So, I mean, obviously, if I don't think one of those top three guys are going to wind up shaking free, but let's say they do, that's a guy to throw money at. Not a, 12, 14 million at a wide receiver too. I'd rather spend 20 and get that guy. So Robinson, Galladay, even Godwin, I don't think he'd go, but let's say one of those three. If you get one of those three, then Mims is obviously going to be the wide receiver too. But if you're banking on him to be the wide receiver one, I think opportunity plays a huge factor because especially in this new offense, this new Mike LaFleur offense, it is designed for play action deep passes. It is designed for wide receivers that are not just quick in their route, but able to run deep and superbly take off. Denzel Mims fits this offense awesomely. He's super fast, super quick, but he's physical too. He's a physical guy that can win contested catches like we saw last year. Again, check out the videos I put up. It was 2 or 3 catches that just blew my mind. It was the same kind of catches, that I saw in guys like Rashad Bateman, that I saw in guys like Devonta Smith. The reason these guys are top overall picks. And again, Mims was projected to be that. So Jenny asked about, going after, and again, guys, just to remind you, you can ask me stuff. We got the live chat going. Ask me questions. You change the topic. Bring it on. We'll mix it up, okay? We're here to talk about all stuff Jets. Again, appreciate all of you being here on your Monday nights. Thank you for being here. Much appreciated. And yeah, ask me stuff and we'll talk about it. But definitely Mims can be that guy. I don't really want to bring in an older receiver like Jenny said. I mean, to me, I just feel like, and I tweeted out today, if you guys take a look, we have the third youngest team in the NFL right now. Third youngest. And that emphasizes Joe Douglas's, say emphasis twice, emphasis on emphasis, to build through the draft, which is what he wants to do. That's how you build a team. Free agency is a supplement. I mean, again, if a top wide receiver comes available, that's the guy I'd go for. But again, that supplement aspect, I can't justify if it's not one of the top guys. A guy I'd like to go after if it's not one of the top guys, if you guys want some interesting names. Rashad Higgins. Rashad Higgins, every single year he's played, has had like a 75, 77% catch percentage over the whole year, which is impressive for a guy that doesn't get the ball that often. So again, my man, you brought up Samuel. I was saying before, with the money that he's going to get, it just doesn't make sense at the moment. Again, guys, I apologize. You bring up something I brought up in the past. Definitely feel free to, always go back. Again, I know it's live right now, but it's going to be recorded, so you can go back, check that stuff out. But again, Higgins is a really good guy to check out. And also, again, we have a new San Francisco head coach, Kendrick Bourne, could be an interesting option. Both Higgins and Bourne are guys that are probably wide receiver 3s, but they have wide receiver 2 potential. And especially if somebody gets hurt, it's good to have depth like that. They're probably only going to make like 4 to 6 or something-ish a year. Not an insane amount of money by any means. Literally half of what, those wide receiver 2 guys are going to make. And you can sign 2 or 3 of those guys. And again, that's Douglas's MO, like he did with, Pierre Desir. And everyone, just a little off topic again, crapped on that. The Pierre Desir signing was a great signing because it was a 1-year deal. The year before last season, the one before he got hurt, he was fantastic. He was excellent man coverage. The Jets, Joe Douglas's logic is, if we get that Desir, great. If we don't, we can cut him. And that's exactly what he did. The only player that Douglas signed out of the bunch he signed, the only one that we can't move on is Connor McGovern. That's it. Ironically, he was one of our weakest linemen last year, unfortunately, but he's the only one. Even guys like Fant, or Van Roten, they have bigger contracts, but they have an out at the end of the year. So again, brilliantly placed. We talked about Mims. I wanted to talk a little bit about the cornerback situation, so we can get into what's going on with the cornerback situation with the Jets, because that's a really important position, especially on any defense right now in the NFL. The name of the game is passing. The name of the game is, excellent top wide receivers that can make amazing catches. Secondary is key, and we haven't had a great secondary, unfortunately, as of recently. So, again, wrote another article on this if you guys want to check it out. Talked all about what I think we could do, and I'm going to break it down with you guys right now. I think a really great signing, and I know a lot of people don't like it, is Richard Sherman. And, again, we're coming back to that 49ers logic. In an interview, you guys saw the presser. Yes, when they asked Sal about bringing in his own guys, he said that there's a familiarity with his own guys. But, yeah, good stuff, guys. Yeah, there's a familiarity with your own guys. But when it really comes down to it, he said, he wants guys that are going to fit the system. He's not going to pigeonhole himself. But let's be honest. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. What you're saying is you want guys that fit your system, and these are guys that fit your system. They were once in your system. They were, because if they didn't, they wouldn't have been there. So, guys, I really, really like, again, Richard Sherman. He was hurt last year. Too many people say he was sluggish last year. Yeah, he was hurt, and he's 30-something years old. I still feel when he's healthy, yeah, he's not going to keep up with a Tyreek Hill. I mean, obviously, that's not. Oh, we still good, guys? So we cut out for a second. Oh, I think we're still here. Okay, cool. Good stuff. So it said we cut out. It said connection lost. Okay, cool. So he's not going to keep up with, a speedy deep guy, but he doesn't have to anymore. Richard Sherman is one of the best still at his older age press corners Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate it. One of the best press corners in the league. He's going to press a guy at the LOS at the line of scrimmage, play you within 10 yards, as good as anybody in this league. Glad you brought it up, my man, Paul. That was the other guy I was going to mention. Love Ahkello Witherspoon. So again, with Richard Sherman, though, before we move off of him, he can still be that guy. And even if he's a CB2, that means that, Hall probably stepped up, or we signed Witherspoon. I'm going to mention I love. Maybe he stepped up. But signing Sherman is great because, again, not just for the player, he's a coach on the field. I mean, why do we love Saleh? We love Saleh because he's fiery, because he's got energy, because he revs everybody up. They want to run through a wall for him. You guys remember Sherman's Super Bowl speech? I mean, that thing was nuts. This guy is a motivator. He brings it every day. And he's not going to be expensive. Sherman's going to be like $7 million, $8 million, which for a leader on and off the field is not a lot of money. So sign him, in my opinion, without a doubt. And I don't see why he wouldn't come. He's been championing us like crazy. I mean, I love guys like Brandon Marshall, but Richard Sherman was the first one, remember, to tell Deshaun to come here. He was the first one to say, go join Saleh, man. Join Saleh with that winning culture. And I think he would definitely come. And again, it's his guys. I think his guys would want to come back and play for him. So Paul mentioned, I love Ahkello Witherspoon. I'm a big, big fan of his. Now, when you look at him physically, he's everything you could drool over for a natural outside cornerback. The kid's 6'1", 6'2", 195 pounds or so. He's fast. He's quick. He's very aggressive in coverage. Presses well, but he's sticky in coverage, and I mentioned fast, but it's underrated because for a guy his size, he's actually quicker than you would think he would be. So I like him a lot. He's also excellent, in pursuit with his vision, excellent ball awareness. His first 2 seasons, he was okay. Then he really broke out. He broke out this last season, had a phenomenal season, one of the better cover cornerbacks in man coverage. I would say easily probably top 15, I would say, last season. So he would definitely be a solid guy to get. Another guy I really, really like, Cameron Sutton. Definitely looking at Cameron Sutton. That's another free agent I think we could bring on. That would be an excellent addition to the cornerback situation. He's been on the Steelers for a long time. He's an excellent CB2, but what's great about him is he's versatile. He can play in the slot. Heck, he could even line up at safety if you want. He's extremely quick, even more faster and more agile than Witherspoon because he's smaller. He's not the normal size you would expect in an outside corner. If I told you have a guy on the outside that's 5'11", 185, 186 pounds, you would say that's too small. But Sutton does it, man. Sutton battles on the outside and plays as physical as everybody. I love that kid. So Sutton, Witherspoon would be great additions. Again, Sherman, I say we bring him on. Now, obviously, we have Hall. And Hall last year looked like he could be a CB1. He really, really did. He came on. Now, what I love about Hall and also, Bless Austin, again, not the same player, but what I love about both of them is both were later round picks, Hall in the 5th, I believe Bless was in the 6th, I want to say, and both of them, when they played in college, they looked like first round picks. When these guys were healthy and they played, they looked fantastic in college. But the biggest issue was they had health problems. They couldn't stay healthy. They got hurt. And that caused them to slip in the draft. Now, Hall is excellent. I mean, he's physical. He's big. He's excellent size. He can match up with anybody on the outside. I wouldn't say he's got the best top-end speed. I mean, he could probably be beat in a foot race, again, down the field. But again, same thing with Richard Sherman. That's what safeties are for. Safeties are for helping you back there. Unless you're blitzing, you have your safeties playing in the box. That's what their job is. You want them back there. So again, Hall could be excellent on the outside, I think. When we first drafted him, I knew he was pretty awesome in zone coverage, but I questioned how he'd be in a man scheme. He was great last year. I mean, you guys remember, he lit it up. Hall was really, really good last year. So he could be a CB1. And heck, Bless Austin, in his rookie year, he looked really, really good. He looked excellent in man coverage. Last season, I kind of, you guys have seen, I said it on Twitter, kind of want to chalk it up to, Greg Williams using him wrong, because a lot of times we watch the defense, I know I wasn't the only one. Other people said, they're not playing to their strengths. They're playing a lot of zone, and Bless is not the best in zone coverage. He really isn't. He can get better. And again, That's the point of Richard Sherman, bringing in a guy like Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman still is one of the better zone coverage players in the league. He'll teach Hall how to be better. He'll teach Bless how to play zone kind of period. But Bless is really, really good in man coverage. And I think, again, bringing in Richard Sherman could be a good mentor to him. He said himself in an interview a couple months back, he knew he had a sophomore slump. He's looking to have a bounce back third year. So Hall could potentially be a CB1. Bless could potentially be a CB2. But I think the best way to approach it is they're not guaranteed to be that. I mean, they could be that, but there's no guarantee that they're going to, be that. So because of that, you got to bring in guys. I mean, like we said with Joe Douglas, the biggest thing is always through the draft. And you guys have seen, I've talked about him nonstop. The one cornerback I love, J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn is fantastic. If you guys haven't seen, I've posted tons of videos on J.C. Horn. This kid has it. I started watching him about 2 years ago or so, back when he wasn't projected that high, when he was considered a third-round pick. But I loved the way he played. Because if you watch him, he's outstandingly physical. He's really, really physical, which is what I love. And he's quick, too. He's everything you want in a press coverage man cornerback. But he does everything really well. So I'd love to get him. I don't think he may be available with the 23rd pick. I've kind of started to accept that he is. That again, when I liked him, I'm telling you, he was considered like a third-round pick. Now he could go high. It's crazy. So he may not be there at 23. Guys I like later on, if you guys want to check him out, Elijah Molden from Washington. That kid is outstandingly talented. Rodarius Williams from Oklahoma State. What I love about both these kids is they're big, physical cornerbacks that can play on the outside, but they're both fast and they both have really good ball skills. Donnie wants to talk some O-line. Ooh, love O-line. That's my jam. O-line is my thing, guys. Love it. So I'm going to come back to O-line. Just want to finish a little bit with the corners, but I definitely want to talk about it. So with the cornerback situation, slot cornerback, the next thing we're going to talk about. Brian Poole's amazing. I mean, Brian Poole is great. He's fantastic. He's probably still the best coverage player on that team. But, he's closer to 30-something years old. I mean, he's, I think, 28, but he's close to 30, and he's going to be signing a one-year expensive deal. I'm telling you guys, Javelin Guidry is it. I love Javelin Guidry. That kid, if you watch him, he is a burner. I put up his 40. I've seen track footage of him. He is ridiculous. That kid can fly. So, sorry, Donnie, I do disagree a little bit because, again, I want to say I want to build through the draft. And, again, I like a younger team. So the way I look at Poole is, he's fantastic. He is. But, again, he's closer to 30 than not. He's not going to be cheap. I mean, he's signing a one-year deal. Could be, 5, 6, 7 million. I'd rather give that to Sherman. I'd rather give that money basically to Richard Sherman, bring him in. And I'm telling you, Guidry, guys, if you watch him, he's a burner. Watched him at Utah. He can keep up with anybody. Guidry can, no joke, probably run step for step with Tyreek Hill. This thing is a burner. So what I love about Guidry, though, what made me nervous in college, he did seem to struggle in coverage. That was the biggest thing that I felt. But watching him with us, I mean, in his rookie season, his PFF coverage grade was only 3 or 4 points off from Poole. Like, literally, Poole had a 77 point something, and Guidry had a 73 point something. Pretty sure. So Guidry had an excellent rookie season, considering he's undrafted, and the speed he has, he's prototypical for what you want in a slot guy. One thing we could do in the draft, I mentioned again, Rodarius Williams, Elijah Molden. One thing you got to keep in mind, yeah, his name is Javelin for a reason. You got it, my man. But one thing you got to keep in mind, which I never understand with teams, one thing that bothers me, teams line up in 4 wide receiver sets. Or maybe, they have a tight end they want to line up on the inside, shift him out a little bit, however they want to do that formation. Teams are always so focused on having a bunch of bigger outside guys and one slot cornerback. This is our slot guy. But technically, if you look at the field, the other side on the inside is the same thing. It's just another slot. It's an adjacent slot. You want another inside guy. That always bothered me with teams, that they want just one slot guy, and that's it. So the way I look at it, I call it either you want to call it a second slot CB or slot CB2, whatever you want to call it. But a great guy for that, Asante Samuel Jr. Asante Samuel Jr. is definitely just going to be a slot receiver in the league, but he's going to be one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. This kid is great. He never allowed an 100-yard game ever in his entire college career. He's excellent in coverage, very, very fast. He would be an excellent guy to go for. Definitely get a guy maybe like Asante Samuel Jr. Again, you have Guidry and Samuel Jr. both on the inside on 4 wide receiver sets. 2 of them, they got the inside down. With their speed and agility, ain't nobody throwing in the middle of that field. I'll tell you that right now. So that would be a really, really interesting way to go the way I feel. So, Donnie, you brought up offensive line before. You said, can Fant be moved to guard? I think Fant can be moved to guard, but the reason I want to leave him at tackle is his unbelievable athleticism. He is probably one of the most athletic, fastest, quickest offensive linemen in the league. It's crazy. I mean, we could legitimately probably kick him out to tight end and he might run a decent route. I mean, I don't know, but he's pretty quick. That guy can move. So he wasn't great last season. He was average to slightly below average. I mean, if we want to talk about offensive line, I mentioned it a little bit last week. The center, guys, just like I got Nick Mangold right here, the center is one of the most important pieces on any offensive line. The offensive line, like Joe Douglas knows, again, a reason I love this guy so much, he knows football is won and lost in the trenches. He knows that it's all about the offensive line. He proved it by taking Becton with the 11th pick last year. He's going to probably take another lineman, and I want it to be Creed Humphrey. We need a center. We need somebody to anchor that offensive line and be a staple. Our next Nick Mangold for the next decade. That's what we need. And I love Creed. I mean, do you know Creed in over 1,200-something pass snaps in his whole 3-year college career? You know how many sacks he gave up? 0. Creed Humphrey gave up 0 sacks on all the passing attempts ever that he played at Oklahoma over those 3 years. He's strong. He's quick. I want him at center. I think we can get him maybe at 34, but the way I look at it with Douglas is he knows value. I mean, he proved it with Mims. When he traded back, the fact that he's still got Mims showed that he not only knows, value of players, he has a good feeling of what each other team is going to do. Because he wouldn't have done that if he didn't think he was going to get Mims. So that is unbelievable on its own. So I see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. But, yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, like I said, Humphrey is going to be outstanding. They need to get him. I'm really, really excited about him. I want him to be the guy. Donna, you mentioned Dickerson as well. Love Dickerson also. One of the issues, he had injury history in the past, but I think he proved it in the Senior Bowl. I think he proved it all this season. He's bounced back. His injuries were, not devastating ones. They weren't, injuries where when you watch him, where the way I look at it when it comes to people have asked me before, what do you look at when it comes to why would you call somebody injury prone? The way I would look at it is with a lot of these guys, Wyatt Davis had the same problem. This is football, guys. It's a physical sport. Most of these guys are playing through injuries. So you see something that looks devastating, like you watch it and you hurt because it was so bad. I don't hold that against the guy. I mean, everyone's going to get hurt. I mean, if he keeps hurting that part, that's one thing. What scares me are the guys that, tear their knee making a cut, or the guys that, hurt themselves but not as bad a contact, or something where you don't see that kind of stuff. So, Donnie, you brought up another guy. I love Ben Cleveland. Ben Cleveland, I like that guy. I mean, he's not the greatest in pass coverage. I guess he kind of shares that with Connor McGovern, but he's a beast in the run. Dude, Cleveland is huge. Cleveland is what is Cleveland? I think he's 6'8", 360-ish, 350, something like that, man. I mean, he's a beast. Cleveland's a tank. I don't think he's going to go that high. He could be a late pick. I love him as a late pick. Him I like as a late pick. If you guys want to check out, I'm pretty sure it's Boston College. Zion Johnson would be a good late pick as well as offensive line. Is that real? Oh, hold on a minute. Guys, we might have breaking news. Wait a tick. You guys see that in the chat? Hold on, I just want to confirm this for a second. Let's see. That's big. Hold on a minute. Marcus May. That would be huge. He's saying Marcus May. Oh, man. Let me just bring that up. Let's see this for a second. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Oh, man, that's huge. He's been re-signed. I want to say, maybe, maybe I had something to do with it. I tweeted about May maybe like an hour or so ago. If you guys saw it, I said, we traded away who we thought was our best safety, and we wound up having the best one all along. This is huge, guys. This is great. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I hope you're excited as well. Man, Marcus May has been tagged. Now, tag is not a bad thing because right now, his side, his agent that, let's be honest, immature, going out and tweeting stuff. I mean, let's get a deal done. So him and Joe Douglas are trying to work these things out. A franchise tag, most often than not, is a step in the direction of figuring things out. If he doesn't tag May by Tuesday, then he can't tag May. Sorry, which is tomorrow, yeah. If he doesn't tag May by tomorrow, he wouldn't have been able to tag May. And if he doesn't tag May, May can test free agency. That's what you don't want. You don't want him going out there and possibly, getting a better deal from here or there or jacking his price up to the point where now you have to make a rash decision. So I do believe that this tag is a step in the right direction. So even though he was tagged, I do think he'll be re-signed long-term. And heck, it could happen even before the year starts. Because again, all this does is make it so that he can't talk to anybody else, and his agent and Joe Douglas are going to sit down and make this work. They're going to iron this out. Man, that's exciting. So Marcus May is back. And I tweeted out again the other day, guys, if you want to check. Sorry, just a couple of hours ago. Tweeted out just an hour or so ago. Again, I'm hoping maybe I played a part of it. Who knows? Just kidding. But I said that, when we traded away Jamal, going back a little further, I told you guys I loved Joe Douglas's draft. When he took Ashton Davis, I said, okay, well, Ashton Davis is a burner, super fast, track star. It's a great pick if we're getting rid of one of our safeties. That was exactly my thought process. And at the time, we thought it was May. You guys remember? We thought May was the one on the chopping block. He might get traded because of the injury history in the past. Now, we wind up again. Jamal Adams does this whole diva thing. Turns out he's a basket case and a head case, and he's shipping himself and selling himself places. So Joe deals him for a king's ransom, and we figure, okay, we got a huge deal out of this, which is great because we just traded away the best safety. But no, it turns out we had the best safety all along. We totally pulled the wool down. Joe pulled it right down on Seattle because May was just hiding that potential. And May came out and he shined. Man, he absolutely shined. So excited that he's tagged. So excited that, other teams can't, be talking to him. Because he was great last year. Everybody saw it. He was great in pass protection. He had great ball awareness, made 2 unbelievable picks. You guys remember that crazy behind the back, on the butt, what the hell's going on? And then that spin around one against the Pats. He was amazing. So he's got to be in long-term plans. I definitely don't see how he's not. So again, we won't go too much longer. What I'll do next week, guys, again, it's fun to talk about all this stuff. Next week, we could talk about, more free agency. So again, we talked about the cornerback situation, which again, I think is a pretty not hard fix. Again, like I said, we can address through the draft. Horn would be the best option by far with the 23rd pick if he's there. No question. Run it up, take Horn, because it depends on what you need. A cornerback 1 is one of the biggest needs of anything. So you do that. Again, other guys like Witherspoon, Sutton in free agency. We have Hall. We have Bless already. Guidry in the slot. There's a lot of good options. So next week, I can talk to you guys more about, other free agency. We can talk about draft prospects you guys like. But the big news, guys, it's amazing. It happened while we were on here. We can thank Medhead for that, my man. Thank you, Medhead. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. You came in, you broke the news. You dropped it like it was hot, and I appreciate it. Thank you. So we won't go too much longer. You know what I'll do is, you guys have any questions? If you guys want, you have anything you want me to talk about? You have any questions? You have anything you want me to bring up? So with the free agency thing, the way You did, my man. You did, and I appreciate it. Thank you, man. I totally appreciate you bringing that up because you got me excited. Right when you said that, I don't know if you guys saw my face. I was like freaking out for a second. I don't know if you guys thought something went wrong. No, I checked it out. I wanted to make sure, I believe it. I just wanted to check, to see what they were saying. But that's huge, guys. Marcus May has been tagged. Our boy isn't going anywhere. So, Donnie, you asked about, agreeing to deals. Free agency technically starts on the 17th, but up to 48 hours prior, they have what they call the tampering period, which, to be honest, is kind of BS. I mean, it kind of negates, like, just have free agency open then. It's the idea of, teams can have backdoor conversations with with players and come to deals in principle that aren't officially signed yet. And what we've seen, though, is, remember, and it gets shaky sometimes, those deals can fall through. There could be a physical or another team makes a counteroffer for some reason, and the player has the ability within his contract to be able to negate it. Heck, we saw it, with Barr back in the day. Remember, Barr wound up leveraging us. So, yeah, that's exciting. So Monday we start. That's exactly it, my man. Monday, the tampering period starts. That's when you're going to start to hear rumors. You're going to start to hear murmurs. You're going to start to hear, if this might happen. And then you'll hear, if you hear deal in principle, most of the time that's pretty concrete. But again, that's the craziness of it. It's most of the time. Until free agency opens and that ink has dried, nothing is technically official. So again, free agency starts on the 17th. I believe, next Monday, we should have time again to talk, because next Monday it'll be. We can talk about what's going on with the tampering period, what we've heard, the rumors we've heard. We could talk about possible free agents that are going to be, signed and things like that. Yeah, man, I know, Barr. That's exactly the point. That's exactly it. And I brought this up as the best reasoning behind, the culture change with Douglas and Saleh. We were... you guys know the whole friggin', LOL Jets narrative, all that BS, the making fun of us. When we were supposed to get Lawrence, they just crapped on us left and right, always crapping on the Jets, always taking their shots. Adam Gase they were making fun of how bad Adam Gase was. But I'm going to come back to that, Donnie. But right when we brought in, and Barr was the best example, man, like you said, he says he's going to sign with us. He's basically says he's going to sign with the Jets, and then he literally leveraged us. He literally leveraged our team to get a better damn contract from the Vikings, which sucks. So, yeah, that happened, but that's not happening anymore. Again, that's why I'm saying if Robinson does go to free agency, hell, he's liked a lot of our stuff. Sherman is telling guys to come here. It's because of Robert Saleh. It's because of Joe Douglas. It's because of the culture change. Things are different now. And I, for one, have to say it's a breath of fresh air. So, Donnie, you brought up, put me on the spot, not happy to be on the spot. Who do we sign first? It really comes down to who shakes free. Again, I think as much as I want Thuney, there's a chance he may not shake free. I definitely think he will. I definitely think Thuney will hit free agency. I'm not 100% on Brandon Scherff. He could still get re-signed. Even though the Redskins did re-sign Roulier, their center, they could still sign Scherff. So if Thuney goes, honestly, the way I look at it is if Thuney or Robinson hit free agency, they're going to push. That's going to be the two guys that Douglas, remember, he said it in his presser. So many people, I put out an article, if you guys want to check it out, misinterpreting the presser. Right after the presser, people telling me, he's not getting 30. He's not going for the big guys. That wasn't true. You have to listen to what he says. I love Joe Douglas for so many reasons. And one is he very specifically and deliberately chooses the words he says. Very specifically. He doesn't show his hand. But if you listen to what he said, we're going to build through the draft, supplement free agency. That's always our ideology. But if a player meets need and the value is there, we go after it. He literally said that. So he's basically confirming what we know, that a guy like Thuney, a guy like Robinson, if it fits need. So I think those would be big guys. Again, prior 49ers, I think would be big guys that they're going to go after. So again, guys like Kendrick Bourne, edge rushers that didn't pan out for them. Guys like Ronald Blair, I really, really liked Ronald Blair as an undrafted guy. I felt like he's been hurt the last couple of years, but I really liked him. Solomon Thomas was a very high pick that wound up busting. Maybe Saleh thinks he'll fit here as an edge rusher. We don't know. But Kella Witherspoon, all those Niner guys, Kendrick Bourne, I think could definitely be in the conversation. But I think Rashard Higgins gets slept on too much, in my opinion. I think if you look at him, he catches. He doesn't get that many balls thrown to him. That's the problem. But if you look at his percentage of what he hauls in, which is actually thrown to him, it's almost wide receiver one status, man. It's almost there. I mean, he's not the fastest guy. He's not the quickest guy, but he will make the catches, and he's physical. So, great question, guys. Jenny's like, who's Adam Gase? I'm with you. Let's just play, I can't think of the word right now, which is memory loss. Like, those years didn't happen. We said it. I said it, back a while back. We had Kotite, and that was the worst years in Jets history, but it was immediately followed by Parcells. I said I hope that the same thing would happen. I said that the same logic might apply. And, we haven't seen the team yet. We haven't seen what Saleh can do, but this is big stuff. We're all excited. And again, the biggest thing, Marcus May, guys. Marcus May is back. Marcus May will be with the team next year. Again, don't be shocked if he's signs a long-term deal before the season starts. Because again, like we talked about, it's just to keep him in-house. It's just to make it so he doesn't get shopped and his price doesn't jump up. But I definitely think that him and Joe are in plans. We just need his agent, Eric Burkhart, to stop tweeting all the nasty stuff and all the things that come to his mind. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I think we'll stop there. I just want to say I appreciate every single one of you for being here live with me. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the experience. I appreciate, again, Medhead, Donnie, Jenny. I appreciate you guys tuning in the chat. I appreciate you guys being part of it. Love it, and I look forward to the interaction in the future. And again, guys, we're going to do this every single Monday live at 7 p.m. Usually, again, go about, 20-something, 30-something minutes. But just like this time, just like last time, we'll talk. You guys want to talk about a conversation? Hell, I'm talking about football. So you guys want to talk? We'll talk. So again, appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you again for tuning into the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to having all of you back next week. Thanks again, and take care.